Hi, my name is Barbara Paris Gifford, and I'm an assistant curator here at the Museum of Arts and Design. I'm going to tell you a bit about Voulkos, the Breakthrough Years, which was curated by Andrew Perchuk and Glenn Adamson, along with myself. This covers the work of Peter Voulkos, a ceramist who passed away in 2002. It covers his breakthrough years, which were from 1953 to 1968. The exhibition contains only 30 pieces, and each piece is strategically chosen to show a progression in Voulkos' practice during this time. It starts with section 1, which is the early works, and we see Voulkos' work as a functional potter, and it ends with him experimenting really with ceramic vocabulary and breaking up what he knows and putting plates on tops and flipping vase forms over and using bowls for bottoms and combining throne forms with slab forms. So you see already on this very early work, you see him breaking away from his early functional works. A word about the exhibition design. It was influenced by Voulkos' early exhibitions, as well as many other kinds of exhibitions that happened at mid-century. You'll notice that this work here is displayed on a gravel table, and that harkens back to the influence of Japanese pottery at the time, and also to Voulkos' exhibition at Laniers. Section 2 is about Voulkos' pot assemblages. It is displayed on a table that echoes a 1957 exhibition that Voulkos had in Chicago. And the reason that we decided on that exhibition to look at is because many of the pieces that you see on this table were first shown, premiered for the very first time in that Chicago show. We see Rasguiato, a very, very important breakthrough piece. We see Rocking Pot, a famous piece from the Redwood Gallery, which the exhibition will travel to next. And we see this piece that hasn't been shown, I don't think ever, which is affectionately called Chicken Pot. It was featured in Rose Slifka's 1978 book, but it had gone missing. And we relocated it for this exhibition, and here it is profiled in our show. The third section is called Painting and Sculpture, and it shows Voulkos' sculptural work getting larger and larger, him experimenting and getting further away from functional pottery for sure. In this work, you also see that you can't necessarily identify where the plate was or where the bowl was. He's pounding pieces out of shape, even though these are thrown forms, and he's making something that's completely new. This sculpture, in this section, 5,000 feet cross in and on, are displayed on low tables. This was actually a platform that Voulkos and John Mason had come up with themselves as they experimented with larger forms. These were designed to take the weight of those, and it also allowed them to work the pieces while they were making them. Also in this section is Little Bighorn, Tientos, and Sitting Bull, some of Voulkos' most important pieces from this time. They show his this sort of dialogue between his paintings, which this one is Falling Red, and we see him playing with colors that seem to be leaping out in the painting as well as receding away, and you can see those same relationships with Little Bighorn. And then we see Red Through Black number 3, and in this case, the sculpture is influencing the painting because Voulkos has actually added a lot of sand to the canvas to make it very clay-like. In about 1960, we see the character of Voulkos' work change. This is because he was actually fired from his job at Otis, and he was unable to work at his studio that he had with John Mason, and he had moved to Berkeley to start teaching at UC Berkeley. So we see in USA 41 and Red River, a piece from the Whitney and a piece from the National Gallery, that Voulkos is still looking at a lot of the same relationships in his sculpture that he was with this larger work, but the scale has changed because he doesn't have access to his equipment that he had in LA. His practice is more focused on bronze at this point in about 1960, early 60 period, and we start to see an interchange with his paintings with his bronzes. So around this time, he is working on a series of bronzes that he calls the Remington series. This painting here is called Blue Remington, and in terms of the shapes and the positive and negative spaces that he is depicting here in this painting, you also see those kinds of relationships in his bronze works. Moving on, while Voulkos was very preoccupied with bronze in this early 60 period, he kept up his ceramic work through demonstration. So we have section 5, which is process and demonstration. It shows a photo of Voulkos doing a demonstration, and then it shows 4 of his demonstration works. These works are displayed on turntables, and these are the kinds of turntables that you would see while you're watching him do a demonstration. These works were chosen because Voulkos made them during his demonstrations, and they're his most abstract expressionist works from this time period. They were made in a very, very fast manner. They're very intuitive. He's accepting all of the quote-unquote mistakes that he's making, and he's embracing that in this work. The last section of the exhibition is the blackwares. These works have not been shown very much at all, and they really show Voulkos working in a more nuanced manner than we had seen in these earlier experiments, and it shows him really settling on a couple of different forms that he would then use throughout the rest of his career. So this is his famous stack form, again used by assembling different kinds of shapes together. We see this Saturnine kind of finish that echoes his bronze work at the time, so we see the same interchange in his practice between, in this case, the bronzes and his ceramic work. And we see that although these pieces are very similar in a lot of ways, they're actually very different and bring something different to this part of the exhibition. This display echoes the first time that they were displayed at the Key Gallery in San Francisco, Ruth Bronstein's King Gallery in 1968. So that concludes the Voulkos, the Breakthrough Year show. Thank you so much for watching this video.